Namaste, I'm Dr. Nikhita, and welcome to my interview series where we are collaborating with distinguished personalities from the health and wellness industry. Today, we have with us a young entrepreneur. He believes in sustainability and finds a strong future in the Indian agriculture. No wonder he has been listed in the Forbes 30 under 30 list. We have with us Yash Kotak, the co founder of Bombay Hemp Company, also known as BOHECO. Very warm welcome to you, Yash.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So, as Dr. Nikita mentioned, I'm one of the seven co-founders at the Bombay Hemp Company. Boheco is India's premier industrial hemp and medical cannabis startup. For those who don't know what hemp is actually the industrial variant of the cannabis plant, right? So in the cannabis family, there is a narcotic plant which is high in THC. THC is the psychoactive substance that is used for medical use as well as for recreational abuse. Hemp has less than usually 0.3% THC as per global standards. So we work with industrial hemp. Some of our core product offerings are in the space of textiles, in the space of nutrition, in the space of wellness and healthcare. At Boheco, what I mainly look after is the marketing and the sales function, and media and communication. So mainly the front end of the business, getting more consumers to adopt hemp as a lifestyle, positioning hemp and cannabis in people's mind, helping people unlearn and relearn about cannabis because there's so much misinformation in people's minds. So that's what I essentially do at Boheco. And yeah, it's been a long but a very fulfilling journey, to say the least.
Right, right. Yes. Also, Yash, so cannabis industry, like what we're talking about, it's quite new, and I think it's got its own niche. I think that's also because there's been a significant gap, like you very rightly said, wherein urban population look at it quite a bit like a recreational drug. Not so much now, but until recent past, and there's been like a shift when it comes to the interiors. The population there look at it more as a cultural significance. So I think that has
Yeah.
been quite one barrier. So I mean, how has the journey been, and what has been your inspiration?
No, sure, thanks. So we often say that this to a lot of people that people in the cities think of cannabis and hemp as dope, whereas people in the rural areas consider cannabis as hope, right? People have been using cannabis for times immemorial, be it for using it as winter wood or kind of extracting the fiber and making ropes to tie their cattle, or using it as food for daily consumption because their forefathers have been eating it. So hemp has been a very important part of their culture, as well as people are using it for subsistence use. Now, the entire process of unlearning and relearning started in mainly urban areas, right? When it started off with a very simple survey that we conducted back in 2013, end of 2013, where we just wanted to understand what do people how do they perceive this crop, right? And you won't believe it, close to 90%, even when you use the word hemp, close to 90% of them thought of it as a drug, right? And that was quite an alarming number for us. And we realized that we need to kind of put in and invest a lot in education. And that's how the mission of the organization was also devised. It's educate, cultivate, elevate. Educate was the first and most important agenda that we had to achieve. Now what did we really do to educate? Number one, what we really did was we used to do a lot of seminars and networking platforms where we used to talk about hemp extensively and really break the myths in people's mind. The other and most important thing we did was we realized that people need some tangible kind of products that are made from hemp. Only once they see it, touch it, feel it, will their myopic mindset starts changing, right? So keeping that in mind, we launched our first product range, which was hemp-based shirts, right? And none of us co-founders come from a design background. So we said, okay, let's just launch plain white shirts because you can't really go wrong with a white shirt, right? A white shirt is a white shirt. So we launched plain white shirts made from 100% hemp, and we told people that, and we showed a picture of the leaf, and we said, "This is not cannabis. This is," and we showed the shirt, right? So people I mean, were really shocked and surprised that this can also be made from cannabis. When they really touch the fabric, when they wear it, and suddenly they feel, wow, it's such a breathable fabric and things like that. Immediately, the perception we started seeing change about the crop. So that was a very important lesson for us that people need more and more substantial product because no matter how much you talk or share information, after a point it does not translate into action. Only thing that can translate into action is tangible products once they are purchased, and that's how the entire cycle starts moving. So that's what helped us educate masses by and large about the benefits of the crop and the uses.
Okay, so that must have been quite a journey. And I also know that, you've been volunteering, you've been actively involved during your college days. So, did you draw your inspiration during those times, or what was it like? If you could like to tell us a little.
Yeah, sure. So Bohico as an organization was incepted in the year 2013 in the month of January, but the idea of working with hemp and cannabis came to us in 2011, right? When we were in college, and actually there was a student-run initiative in college that kind of helped us think about this idea. So that project was called Project Chirag. It was a solar rural electrification project where we used to go to villages across India, mainly North India, and we used to provide them with solar electrification that were made. The entire solar kit was made by paraplegic patients from Bombay, right? So it was a proper social initiative that we had started out, and there was a proper CSR angle. That was in fact our first kind of attempt at entrepreneurship, really, right? And the social angle was that 50% of the money for that entire solar kit would come from the villagers itself. The balance 50% would come from CSR budgets from big corporates. Now, when we went in these college trips and kind of helping villages put out different solar panels, we realized that every 100 kilometers, everything would change from people, the culture, the food, the language. But there's one thing that was always constant, and that was cannabis. We kept seeing cannabis growing wildly across the banks of the rivers, on the side of the roads, and people were harvesting, and they were not really abusing it. They were not smoking it. Yes, of course, there was a small section of the society that did do that, but majority of the people were using it for their own home use and for subsistence use. So when we saw that and when we interacted with the villagers firsthand, right? I remember this one story very clearly that we had stopped at a local dhaba. This was in Uttarakhand. We saw that there was this one lady. She walks out of the kitchen and she uses the hemp seed oil. She only made the paste of it. She uses the oil and she applies it on a stretch marks. And we were quite surprised to see that why is she doing that. And I asked her that, what made you do that? She's like, अरे हमारे तो परदादा कर रहे हैं और ये जादू का तेल है. अब देखो मेरे 1-2 हफ्ते में ये stretch marks भी चले जाएंगे. And when you come to like a city in a place like Bombay, go to like a Phoenix mall, you'll see body shops selling, hemp seed oil for stretch marks packaged and at double the price and triple the price. So we realized that it is a huge part of the natural ecosystem. People are using it. People kind of use it for more than one uses. So it, like I said in the start, right? It was a long but a fulfilling journey. There's so much to learn and through this interaction with these villagers, and that college project had a huge role to play for us to get to where we are.
Yes, right. So that sounds like quite a inspiration story. Um, at a young age of 27, you were listed on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. That is so incredible. So, what was your first reaction when you actually found out about it?
So to be honest, we were quite overwhelmed, and of course, we were very happy and ecstatic that that this has come our way. Never did when we started out back in 2013 properly. Never did we think that we'll get this far and that we'll be recognized and acknowledged for all of this. To be honest, we've just put our head down and made sure that we achieve our goals and continue doing the work that we have been doing. But yeah, it felt amazing. It felt good that someone or some group of people recognize you for your efforts that you're putting. But I think these are some of the perks of all the hard work you put over the years, and yeah, I mean you enjoy while it lasts, right? So yeah, we are humbled and overjoyed at receiving it.
Right, because it's been quite a journey. Like, how long has it been at Bohiko?
And so it's been 7.5 years properly registered, but we've been at this idea since around 9.5 years now. So in college in 2011, around 2011 is when we started thinking about this.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Great. Congratulations again, and I'm sure
thank
you're going
you.
to continue to be on those types of lists. I look forward to that. Uh,
Thank you.
moving forward,
No, thank you.
yeah. So we're presently actually in a very uncertain time. If you see, like this current pandemic which we are faced with, I think this is something which we all least expected, and it's like hit us all in a certain way. Like especially a lot of industries are significantly affected, and I think it's going to have its own impact, and it's going to take its own course to really get back to what our world was earlier. So I mean, how are you looking at it at your end? I mean, how has it impacted your industry? How do you look at it?
Sure. No, like you rightly mentioned, these are very uncertain and unprecedented times, right? We've not, as humanity, at least in my lifetime, we've not seen something like this, happen before. And how do we deal with it? But to be honest, you have to kind of see how the world is shaping up. We have this one mentality amongst us that what's going to happen with everyone is going to happen to us as well. So we're in it together. We need to just stick together, just follow the rules that are being set out by the government and kind of take this challenge head on, right? Collectively, as humanity, this is a challenge where we are all united because of something like this, and we need to really take it up head on. But some of the things that we did, preemptively, was that thanks to one fact that India kind of got hit a little later in the curve compared to the rest of the world. So it was so we immediately started learning the best practices as well as some of the mistakes that were being made by other countries, right? And keeping that in mind, it made it a little easy for us to preempt what is going to look like, right? And we put some things and strategies into motion. Like for example, if just before the lockdown, we kind of make sure that we stock up with our inventory for up to at least 3 months, and this is only for a nutrition and medical products. So we stocked up all of that inventory with us. We shifted our dispatch center, our e-commerce dispatch center, to an area in Bombay called Bhiwandi, in around Bombay called Bhiwandi, which has a far better infrastructure with regards to warehousing and transport. We also aligned with our shipping partners to recognize our nutrition and health products as essentials because they fall under the category of Ayurvedic proprietary medicines, so that we can continue, servicing some of those orders. And some of our patients and consumers who have kind of found merit in using the product should not kind of stop their treatment because of a problem of this nature. And lastly, we intimated all our customers that the delivery will happen, but will happen in a delayed manner. So these were some of the things that we preempted, of course, and that was at a brand and a consumer level. But at a business level, essentially, what we did was we started curtailing all our good to have expenses, right, and kind of immediately put a stop on it, because for us it became more so clear, more so than ever before, that survival is the strategy we need to focus on rather than growth at this stage. Only if there is a today will there be a tomorrow. So we really started curtailing on the good to have expenses. And thanks, because we are in the space of startup and because our network is quite wide in the space, we started speaking to a lot of other friends and entrepreneurs and people who run their own establishment as to what all have they done. And we put it into motion. Of course, it's not foolproof. It cannot be. There's no one right or wrong way to deal with this situation. We did what we had to in order to kind of make sure we survive this phase. And yeah, that's what we put into motion. But after the pandemic, right, is going to be really, those times are also going to be very testing times for us, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on supply chain. right? People have not done really good business, so suddenly, warehousing, transport, manufacturing, all of these industries will see a lot of pressure, and prices will rise, and it will take time before things stabilize and normalize. And we are, I mean, small steady steps towards a progressive outlook towards this entire thing are being taken at our end, so that we can sustain.
Right, right. Very true. Yes, it is going to take quite some time.
Yeah.
And I do know that you as a company, as an individual, you are trying to create a very positive impact, especially by educating people, like very rightly in your industry, where still a lot of education and awareness is required, really, to look at it more so as a nutrition supplement, and also because it has such medicinal properties. It is a Ayurvedic medicine. We do use it quite a bit in different formulations in Ayurveda, and I know that it has a vast scope. So, how are you looking at the future perspectives, for Bohiko?
Yeah. So for Bohiko, we as a company are at a very critical juncture, right, where we are also re-establishing ourselves in the space of hemp and cannabis. You can say that the last 6 to 7 years went in exploration of the industry, whereas the next 6 to 7 years are all about exploitation, right? And by exploitation, what I essentially mean is really instead like in the first 6 to 7 years, we are focusing on science and policy as our main domain areas in order to establish the industry and make sure that the fundamentals of this industry are in place. But the next 6 to 7 years, and by exploitation, what I meant was to roll out and manufacture good quality products made from hemp and cannabis and put it out in the market, be it local or internationally. So for Bohico, like I said, we're at a very critical junction where we are also pivoting our strategy from being more education focused to more cultivation and elevation focused from the mission that I mentioned earlier, right? To especially with the core focus being towards human health and consumption, nutrition, wellness, and health as our go-to categories, where we are making products from the hemp seed and the cannabis leaf, right? So we are focusing on these categories, and the whole core positioning of the brand, which is Bohico Life, under which these human health and consumption products are being sold, is well-being at every step, right? We at Bohico want to kind of make sure that everyone has like one life, right? And we want to make sure that that everyone is physically fit and mentally sound. And we want to use hemp and cannabis as the tool to kind of accompany you on that journey, right? And make good quality products to kind of constantly add to your life so that you can start your day and retire your day with hemp and cannabis by your side. So that's our core focus moving into the near future. More products, far larger base, get more believers of hemp and cannabis, change the perception, change the mindset, reposition hemp in people's minds. So yeah, that these are some of the critical things we are out to achieve in the next few years.
Great, great. That sounds really fantastic. Because I personally am looking forward quite a lot, like you mentioned about the wellness category, which you have. You've also got a lot of health supplements, like pain killer oils, and that is something which is very interesting. And also the local aspect of it. So I totally look forward to the range, and
Thank you.
yeah, I am really very grateful for you. You came down, like gave us this time. So thank you so much, Yash, and I wish you all the very best with Bohiko. Is there anything you would like to ask me? Are there any
No, sure.
questions?
No, firstly, thank you so much for organizing this. I think conversations like this, when they kind of are put out, really help in creating good knowledge around the subject. This was a good conversation. I had a great time. So thank you for organizing it. It was my pleasure to be a part of it. To be very honest, I definitely want to stay in touch with you and your work and see how can we, be of any further help to you as well. Yeah, and my last message to everyone is stay safe, stay indoors. These are uncertain times, but like everything else, this too shall pass. Just stay positive, and make the most of your time at home with your loved ones.
Thank you so much, Yash. I'm sure
Thank you.
this will reach out to all our viewers. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know. Please leave a comment. And I look forward to making more such useful interactions. So stay safe, take care, and make Ayurveda a way of life. Take care.
Bye
Namaste.
bye. Namaste. Bye bye.